Welcome to TW Sports Talk. And the 2013 Eagles season is basically officially over after the loss at home against the New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans Saints.
Sorry. But I'm not too down on it. I mean, I think last week we said that they beat the Cowboys and they won the division like they should have, and that the game against the Saints, a pretty experienced team
that hasn't won a road game in the history of their playoff game in the history of their franchise,
which was bound to get corrected eventually. And that happened against the Eagles, who are a young team who is inexperienced. That's the way I look at it here. I mean, the Eagles stuck right with them. They had plenty of chances to win this game.
Stuck by right from when Keenan Lewis went out for the game.
Right. Yeah.
Let's be fair. That offense wasn't doing jack once Lewis went out.
And I mean, the Eagles, Earl Wolf, tongue tied here.
Yeah.
Earl Wolf wasn't playing. So I mean that hurt, but obviously.
No, but the game got closer once Keenan Lewis went out. Right. If Lewis didn't go out, I think the Saints would have won the game comfortably. They were starting to wake up in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles' offense too. I mean, was
once Keenan Lewis went out of the game.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean
you can connect the dots, Tyler.
No, I mean even before that, I thought
before that we got 7 points off of a big interception by DeMeco Ryans, which did most of the running for that play to set it up for the offense.
Yeah, I mean,
but up to that point here, everything happened after Keenan Lewis went out.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Deshaun Jackson got a nice catch.
Make him pay for the weakness. I mean, that's what you got to do.
Well, yeah, injuries clearly hurt. Clearly, the Chiefs are learning that the hard way too. Once you lose a lot of big guys, and that depth starts to show, you get exploited very badly if you're facing a decent quarterback. Then,
yeah, I mean the way I look at it too, with bringing up that game. I mean, we stuck with the Saints, throughout the game. Whereas, the Chiefs with this huge lead, coached by Andy Reid, blow this huge lead and, just had this ultimate collapse. Like what was it? They gave up the second biggest comeback in playoff history.
Second biggest playoff. They tied the second. Yeah. It was the second. Yeah. It was tied the second biggest in NFL history too. The biggest one's still the Buffalo Bills 32 over the Houston Oilers comeback. Yeah. Which I didn't realize was even that high. Yeah. I got the point it was 20. I'm like, this might be the biggest comeback.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones. No, but I mean, look, Jamal Charles goes down. That's a big hurt for the Chiefs. Flowers is out. That's like one of their top corners.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt their secondary then.
Yeah.
And I think they lost another secondary guy for the game then. And then Niles Davis goes down. And I mean, that's your backup. And so your third string running backs in one game here coming in. I mean, you just can't lose all that. And then Justin Houston goes out then. And once that happens, then Talib can't do everything on offense. He was starting to get tired as well. The reason why those two were so dangerous on defense because they're both are so talented that once you worry about one, you can't cover the other one then. So when one goes out of the game, you don't need to worry about the other guy then. The backup doesn't. You don't need to worry about the backup.
Yeah.
That being said, Andrew Luck played a hell of a second half.
Beast mode.
Yeah.
Because even with all those there, he still was able to exploit it. And from a young quarterback perspective, you don't see that very often.
Yeah. Any good team and quarterback should exploit a weakness here, and that's the thing. And that's what the Eagles did.
And like I said, Robert Mathis made a big play on Alex Smith. I think that fumble was a big turning point too. Because usually Alex Smith does a fumble. He's the manager.
Right.
Too. And that's the other problem too. I think the way they ran their offense wasn't maybe the best way either. You're by 28 in the third quarter.
Right.
The clock is now your friend.
Yeah.
Even if you're losing people and you probably will start getting exploited in the second half. That clock's your best friend.
Right.
So 5-minute plays, 7-minute plays, that's a good thing. Yeah. Even 3-minute 3 and outs are good. Run the football 3 times. You take maybe 3 minutes off the clock. That's 3 minutes. The other team has to get back. So, I mean, their play calling was like, it was still 0-0. It's 38-10, people. You got this game supposed to be well in hand.
Yeah.
At least that's what the odds say.
Yeah.
But no, so to me, there's so much. There was the injuries you could blame and management. And at the same time, I'm not going to take anything away from Andrew Luck. I mean, technically he did get lucky. Because he wasn't facing the same. He wasn't facing the same Chiefs D that he was in the first half, which, let's be fair, decimated the Colts.
And even the Chiefs' defense. I mean, in recent weeks,
This was
too,
even the
they
same
haven't been-
Chiefs D that they faced in
Yeah.
Week 16 either. This was
early in the season. They were obviously the defense was very good. Now later in the season,
injuries.
Yeah,
The injuries could be a big factor.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, if
Mhm.
I was one of the members of the press, asking Andy Reid a question that game, I would have said, Andy, time was yours.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
so what happened?
They're-
I would
I
have
mean,
thrown it back at him. Well,
I mean, they're on it, but I'm not going to blame it on Andy Reid because
yeah, it's not all of it.
I
But
do the injuries did contribute to their
yeah,
collapse, and it still was a collapse.
Yeah.
You don't give up 28 points; it's still a collapse.
Yeah.
The Auburn Florida State game is different. Auburn was like an 11-point underdog
Yeah.
to begin with. There, they should be up 21-3. So I figured Florida State would come back eventually. The question was, would it be too little, too late?
Yeah.
And with Jameis Winston, the Heisman Trophy candidate, leading him the way, he
Yeah.
won it there.
Yeah.
He won the game. It wasn't his best game, but he won the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he really cares about. You get to hold that trophy. And what is the last year of the BCS? Because next year it's playoff time for college
Yeah.
football, top 4.
Yeah. Now, a good thing that, we can say, with as far as the Eagles organization goes, with all these other teams having injuries and stuff, they may take some notes from, our regime that was like the healthiest in the league if you think about it.
Well, I think offensive line
How we
definitely.
did things.
Our
Yeah.
secondary got beat up pretty badly
Yeah.
this year, and that was a weak
They got-
secondary to begin with.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, then there's some injuries there, but,
And I'm curious-
overall.
I'm curious how much of that secondary is coming back next year.
Yeah. Well, obviously, that's probably, to me, that's probably where you want to address the team first in the offseason.
And the draft.
Perhaps. Yeah,
And
the
the
draft.
draft.
Well,
but
yeah,
definitely
in the offseason in general. Yeah, whether it be free agency or the draft. Because I think offensively, that they're pretty solid,
'cause-
obviously.
Well, they should be better, Macklin. Hopefully, he's
Right,
coming
exactly.
back. If
Yeah.
healthy, yeah, there should be
Yeah.
a better offense next year.
Right.
That's the question, though. Nick Foles has a big year next year.
Right.
Next year, this is his chance to prove everybody that
Right.
he's the franchise
that
guy.
and that he has longevity here. That it wasn't just a great.
And that's
year.
why Jeffrey Lloyd made those comments of, I don't think this is a franchise. I'm not going to say franchise yet. Because he
Right.
knows he doesn't have franchise money yet. Next year, if
Yeah.
he does good, he'll want franchise money
yeah.
because he feels he's earned franchise money. The key word is earn it,
Earn it, right?
which means divisional title again, probably.
yeah,
Because if it's a relapse, Tyler, go trying to sell it to the Philadelphia
Right.
people that this is the franchise guy then. I mean, if it's a complete relapse, it's
right.
going to say, well, I guess Nick Foles was Foles gold after all.
Yeah,
But so division is not division. At least make the playoffs,
yeah.
and
Maybe win a game at
and
least.
especially if it's at home. 'Cause that's been the thing. I think
Right.
It was at home.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're at home in the playoffs, advantage the home team.
Right.
Granted, Cincinnati screwed that up pretty badly.
Yeah.
Really, I'd say
Also-
more than we did. Granted, they couldn't sell. They had trouble
Yeah.
selling tickets. We did it. We,
Yeah. The Eagles sold.
we were the
yeah,
only game that was not friend
Right.
that we got blacked out. We sold out
Yeah.
like in 5 minutes. Green Bay could do great. I think Green Bay's problem was weather. that
Maybe.
was the
Yeah. I
problem.
mean, that was pretty.
I
brutal
don't know
weather.
what the Colts was. They got hit with the same storm, but they play in a dome.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the deal was there. And maybe because they were facing the Chiefs. Maybe they said, "Oh, well, we beat them in Week 16." Not really an interesting matchup. But the Colts and of course the Bengals, who I said earlier, has not won a playoff game since God
Right.
knows when.
Yeah.
And here
Which-
Tyler was laughing at me. Oh, the Chargers not D. The Bengals
No,
have
I-
all this
I
talent
wasn't,
in that.
no, I wasn't laughing at it. I said it would be a good game. Because I mean, you saw what they did, even with Dalton throwing 4 interceptions against the Ravens.
Mhm.
I mean, you saw what they could do against them. But I mean, it's here. I mean, they just couldn't.
But they
mount
weren't
any
facing
offense.
Philip Rivers.
No.
Philip Rivers is a better quarterback than Joe Flacco. Even though Joe
Well,
Flacco has a
yeah,
ring.
Maybe right
and
now.
Rivers doesn't have a
Yeah.
ring.
Right.
That's the only thing
maybe
different right now.
right now, but I mean, let's face it. I mean, it was hard to. I mean, the Chargers. How did they barely beat the Chiefs when they had their backups in? I mean, that
I
to me that was a little odd.
I don't know. Everybody has a bad week, Tyler. Everybody has a bad
Yeah.
week. To me, it was great play calling. Their running game looked
Yeah.
pretty good. Better than their
Yeah.
passing game in that game. But how did they also beat them? Like I said earlier, this team leads the league in time and possession.
Yeah.
Something I think Chip Kelly should learn from a bit. Because, I'm sorry, there was times they ran no huddle. I'm fine with running no huddle there. But I do think that maybe next year we might get exposed when If we don't,
Yeah.
if we
Well,
don't start huddling
yeah.
up once in a while.
Yeah, and that's probably. I mean, that's what the off season is for.
Because there's
to
one thing you can
address
also
that.
say about the Eagles game too. That final possession maybe it should have been the final possession of the game with
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Granted, we got a pass interference call once again because Keenan Lewis wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
Therefore, Jackson could get open, and that created a pass interference call. But that pass interference call, I'm like, oh god, this is just bad. Because now we scored, but now we just gave 4 minutes to Drew Brees
Yeah.
and this Saints
Right.
offense, who now in the second half has started to expose this crappy Philadelphia Eagles defense. And even then, I was like, the game's over. I knew it was going to happen. And
Yeah,
Kerry Williams'
people were
horse
walking
collar on the return didn't help matters
Yeah.
either. He made it 10 times easier for Drew
Yeah.
Brees.
Well, the problem with that too is that they weren't even in position to really stop it. So I mean,
No.
it was either the horse collar tackle there, or he might have been gone for all we know into the end zone. I mean,
But still, you don't do it, Tyler.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's
This-
what. I'm just saying. Like he dove for the tackle. That's
I mean, there's one you got to take from
he's out of
an Auburn
position.
Florida State game. It's 3rd and 8 with like 17 seconds left in the game. Winston throws a pass, and it looks like it's on target, and the Auburn guy does a pass interference call. Therefore, it's 1st down, and now it's from the 2-yard line, which means now Florida State can even run the football if they want to. They did James Winston play action, pass, touchdown.
Yeah.
But that's a play like that, and it's like, okay, well, do you let him score? Or do you go to pick and just let him go up 10 yards, and then maybe score the next possession?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's a tough scenario, but I rather you just try to get him out of bounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because really, the horse collar, you just give him an extra yardage
Yeah.
then.
well, I'm saying he was in the position he was in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like basically all he could do. I mean, the problem was that he was out of position.
Yeah.
Which caused that in the first place, I think, and that nobody else was
Mhm.
in position to make a tackle either. So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that gave him good field position, obviously, but then the defense couldn't stop him on. Drew Brees had 2 quarterback sneaks, and
Yeah.
that was the problem. They couldn't stop him there.
That
Everybody kind of knew.
that offensive, and let's also give credit to Rob Ryan's D.
Yeah,
He held LeSean McCoy, who for some odd reason got Barry Sanders
He probably did,
comments up to this game here. Barry Sanders? I'm not going to go that far with LeSean McCoy.
yeah, not yet. But,
Not yet.
I mean,
Let's not check. Barry Sanders never no-showed a playoff game. And that's pretty much what LeSean McCoy did. Granted, great defense by Rob Ryan, which makes Jerry Jones look like just an idiot right now.
Yeah.
Because he holded the best rusher in the NFL this season to less than 100 yards. Mark Ingram had more yardage in the game.
yeah,
Who's like their backup. Chris Pierre-Thomas didn't play.
right.
So, I mean, let's give Rob Ryan credit. Like I said, Keenan Lewis, he made Deshaun Jackson a no-show.
Yeah,
And he made a great tackle, which took him out of the game.
yeah,
Tell him he wanted to go back in the game there, but concussion rules now you can't really go back, especially if you have maybe even a mild concussion because they don't want to. They don't want to.
yeah.
They don't want to look like Robert Griffin III and the Redskins, pretty much. Well, maybe he shouldn't have played. Maybe because maybe that Achilles isn't as fully healed as we all believe. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny too. Avant was the guy that got up from that huge, but that's because he led with his head and
Well, yeah, and
Into the
they
shoulder,
keep telling defenders not to do that. But
yeah, I mean,
and like I said, it's probably Lewis's fault, but still, that went out of the game. All of a sudden, Jackson's open.
yeah,
There was a 50-yarder down the field to
They
this
were
corner, and
containing
Jackson, the 5'0" receiver,
Right.
catches it in
Yeah.
front of the corner.
yeah,
Guarantee it was Lewis. He would be open.
yeah. Well, he probably wouldn't have thrown to it.
Granted, Riley Cooper dropped also a wide open screen
Wide
pass. It
open,
would have been.
yeah.
Who knows where that would have
That could
went?
have that could have been a touchdown. One of my complaints here with the offensive game plan was that the tight end use was maybe non-existent
Mhm.
almost.
Pretty much.
I mean, I didn't.
So
I don't think Ertz had anything.
Selleck, Ertz, yeah, they pretty much
They
no
didn't
shows
have
in that game.
yeah. I mean, they didn't really have any catches or any
Well,
plays designed.
that's
for
the thing
it.
there too. Even when our offense was holding Breeze and the Saints to not even a touchdown in the first half,
Right. Yeah,
our offense was doing jack.
yeah, exactly. And that's
A
what
lot of 3 and outs, and like I
Halftime.
said, in the span of less than a minute too.
right.
And you can't win games with that. I don't care what Chip Kelly
Exactly.
says. Well, I don't care about time and possession. Well, guess what? I do, Chip. Because especially when you're facing Drew Brees, the less he's on the field, the more I like our chances of winning games.
I mean, time and possession only doesn't totally matter if you score a touchdown every drive.
Yeah.
And so it was a factor here. And
But I like to be better, Tyler.
yeah,
I'm not happy there when it's 3 and outs and it's less than a minute
exactly.
off the clock.
That's
And then
the problem.
comes Drew Brees. It's only a field goal, but it takes 5 minutes off the clock.
Yeah.
Because that's 5 minutes our offense doesn't get.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's the problem. I mean 3 and outs. I mean they're
Yeah.
it seems like sometimes they either have this long great touchdown drive or they just go 3 and out, right?
And like I said, less
It's
than a
like
minute
rare.
almost.
Yeah,
Because it was 3 pass plays and 3 complete passes. It's like you
yeah,
don't take any off the clock then.
yeah. It doesn't do any good, and it just I mean you got to punt the ball away, and
Mhm.
I mean you didn't, and it's since they didn't get anywhere. I mean they could be given good field position to the Saints. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's obviously that's something that should get addressed in the future for next season, and we'll see. Like I say, I mean this was an unexpected
Yeah.
turnout for the season.
Yeah.
With them winning the division at 10-6, and
Mhm.
they got a little outcoached and beat by a more experienced team. So that's, and of course now the Saints go on to Seattle to play the
Where I'm
Seahawks.
curious how this. Well, first of all, if Keen Lewis is out, I'm curious how
Yeah.
that's gonna be. Does Percy Harvin play for Seattle finally?
Right.
Because that's gonna be an X factor then for this
Yeah.
offense. I'm just curious. This is gonna be the same Saints team now that shows up like they did Monday night in Seattle, where they got just destroyed pretty
Yeah.
much. Or does Drew Brees and them show up and say, no, 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 we're not going to get walked over this time. This is the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the second season for a reason. This is where we can get payback now.
Yeah.
Because even that's what the Niners are thinking with the Panthers. That's pretty much what Kaepernick says. We owe them one. That's what he pretty much said in an interview. We owe the Panthers one. They beat us 10-9, but we have Crabtree back now. We didn't have him in that game. Great, that was at Candlestick. This is at Carolina, so now you're the road team.
Yeah.
But still, RV Expert now has it almost being 49ers and Seahawks. Although I'm not going to rest on the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
Because
yet.
Not yet. Not yet. We're gonna see what happens, but that'll be interesting. But like I said, the AFC, few interesting matchups there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely some rematches here.
Mm-hmm.
I think almost I think the only non-rematch is going to be the Colts and the Patriots.
But
which is
this is the first time they faced since Peyton Manning wasn't the quarterback.
Right. Yeah. First time with.
And Brandon Spikes is not playing for the rest of the year, so that's another loss for this Patriots team, which has just been injured happy all year pretty much.
First time Luck will be taking on Brady essentially.
Pretty much, and with Brandon Spikes out, you think this might be a shootout probably now because the Patriots D has been kind of lackluster this year. Mainly due to injuries, but that happens.
Yeah.
You'd be curious if maybe Luck can expose that again.
Right. Yeah. So I guess we'll go through the games here and who are you taking in that game, the Patriots and.
Maybe it's because I kind of maybe got overexcited about the Colts comeback. I got the Colts.
Oh yeah.
I think Andrew Luck, especially Brandon Spikes out now, and this has been a D that's been hurting the Patriots. And I do think that Robert Mathis will put enough pressure on the other side of the ball on Tom Brady that he makes some mistakes. Like I said, he doesn't have Brady. Brady's been doing so much with so little this year, and maybe in this game he gets exposed finally. I know everybody would see Brady and Manning because that's just the dream matchup.
Yeah.
I don't. I think somebody loses, and since I got the Broncos still going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, I might add you, I got the Patriots losing to the Colts. I think Andrew Luck exposes, plays a hell of a game. And it's Broncos Colts probably. Although we'll get to the Broncos Chargers game later because I'm picking the Broncos, but I am nervous as hell for that game.
I can see, but I also have the Colts winning. I mean, I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw how they adjusted to against the Chiefs, and I mean here with Brandon Spikes out, I mean they can do the same thing. They can expose weaknesses here in the Patriots D and and especially,
it's Coach Belichick, and we all know he's a genius kind of in football, and he can fix any small weakness maybe in any position. But I think this is where they maybe get exposed a bit by a team that does have a passing game.
Right.
Great, not as good as the beginning of the year. Reggie Wayne's not playing
for
the rest of the year, which I think is really if he was, this would be maybe the 2 seed. This would be an opposite maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the Patriots would be the 4th seed, and they would be facing the 2-seeded Colts then maybe.
Yeah.
But Reggie Wayne's not playing. T.Y. Hilton's playing. T.Y. Hilton, he's had a lot of big games this year. I mean, I think this Chiefs was his 10th game of the season. We had 200+ receiving yards.
Yeah.
So the guy's a player.
Right. Yeah, and not only that. I mean, they're coming off a big win.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be fired up
Definitely.
going to New England.
Not to mention Andrew Luck wants to get some big money soon.
Right. Yeah.
Because like I said, much like Nick Foles and RG3, they got these small rookie contract deals yet. But now I think for Luck, I think this is it. This is when he finally starts to well, I should say it. Next year's his year where he finally gets the extension. I think he's earned it now, but he really wants to show people, this is my team now. Not only that, we might get a ring in a few years under me.
Yeah. And not only, Tom Brady, he could do really well without lack of talent, but I just, they're probably, I think they're missing too many guys here. And
not to mention Robert Mathis, who leads the league in sacks.
Yeah.
He kind of had a quiet first half against the Chiefs, but then he woke up in the second half and he puts enough pressure on Brady. I don't think Brady's going to be able to find Edelman or Tompkins. Or I think Amendola is still playing as well in that. So I don't think he's going to be able to find these targets.
Right. Yeah.
And if that's the case, advantage Colts then. So
yeah. So then, you kind of already told me about the Broncos prediction. I'm with you too. I mean, I think that'll be an interesting game too, as was the last one between the Chargers and the Broncos.
Well, both meetings have been close.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Even when the Broncos won, it was a close game.
Yeah, I think this one will be.
And like I said, is because Mike McCoy, the former offensive coordinator for the Broncos, is the head coach, and he kind of knows the in and outs of this team, maybe. And therefore, that motivates this because I don't know. The last time they played, did Moreno barely even have any rushing yards?
Yeah,
which made the team one dimensional.
Yeah,
which is kind of still tough because you still got Decker you got to cover and Thomas and Welker who's coming back off of a concussion.
Yeah, but
still, I mean, I'm nervous as hell for this game here because this Broncos D does not have Von Miller.
Right.
Who's their part? So there's no pass rusher.
Yeah.
You get Phil Rivers, who leads the league in completion percentage.
Yeah.
All the time in the world in the back with Eddie Royal back now. And Ryan Matthews maybe now and oh crap. I brain fart of Chargers teams here, but
Danny Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead, exactly. Who had a hell of a game against Cincinnati here. You start getting nervous if you're a Denver fan now.
Yeah.
A bit. And I'm a little nervous too here, but it's Peyton Manning. And you hope maybe this is the year he gets the monkey off his back as far as playoff and choking and so on. Because this is a better team than he had last year.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I got to think too, that's got to be in the back of their minds how last year it was the same situation. They were 13-3.
The 1 seed.
Home field advantage.
Yes,
yeah.
The 1 seed.
And what and
they get shut out by...
They gave up...
And they give up 35 to Joe Flacco and the Ravens.
Right. And then again, too, I mean, the Chargers were the first Eagles home game this year.
Yeah.
And, look what happened with the Ravens last year against... So, I mean, I got to think that the Broncos win this one in a close game and, potentially a shootout. I don't know. I mean, I obviously Phillip Rivers and that offense, they move the ball down the field pretty well, and
they also
lead the league in time possession.
They also top the clock, like I said. They lead the league in time possession.
Yeah,
so
completion percentage.
So a lot of 7-minute drives. That's 7 minutes that Peyton Manning might need in this game.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, whereas Manning, you never know. I mean, he could out of nowhere, he could just find somebody down the field for a bomb.
But I guarantee you this: it's John Fox is taking this game dead serious.
Yeah,
because this is like I said, a trap game. This is somebody they said Denver did not want to face in the divisional playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
They wish Cincinnati just won their game.
Yeah.
They could do because it was Andy Dalton, and once again he kind of choked in the playoffs. Maybe it's Lewis too, because I also know Lewis hasn't won a playoff game as the head coach for Cincinnati either.
Right. Yeah,
granted he's staying. To blame it all on Dalton, I think Lewis is going to get some blame eventually here.
Yeah.
This is still his team.
Right. Yeah, the revenge situation too, and so go with the Broncos, and then over the NFC divisional matchups, we have the Seahawks hosting the Saints. Wait and see if Percy Harvin plays as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
I think it's gonna be closer than the first one.
Yeah,
though.
It should. Yeah,
I think the Saints are motivated now. I think Rob Vine's gonna get this defense motivated to put pressure on Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but I mean, ultimately, I think the Seahawks will come away with the win.
Yeah.
Here, and Saints got to travel pretty far for this game. On top of it, so I don't. I mean, I know they want finally got the road game in the playoffs monkey off their back, but But the Seahawks are, a pretty complete team, I think, and especially if they have Percy Harvin back, I think they should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty straightforward there.
Yeah.
And then Carolina hosting the 49ers. I actually have Carolina in this.
Yeah.
I think I said it before.
So you're forfeiting the 49ers now as your NFC team too.
Yeah, I see the thing. I've said for weeks the Panthers started 1-3,
Mm-hmm.
and since then, I mean, their only loss was to New Orleans Saints at New Orleans, which is a big home field advantage
for the Saints. Yeah,
I mean the Saints were 8-0, I think, at home this year.
Exactly.
So
much like Cincinnati and
right.
The Seahawks were 7-1. They lost at Arizona that one time.
Yeah, at home. So yeah, I mean I think the Panthers are pretty for real. Their defense.
Does Steve Smith play? Does anybody know? I mean, because that's gonna be.
I don't know, but
I think either way, I think Cam Newton's going to show up here.
I do too, and I mean I think I think they're for real, and I mean I think the week off will help them too.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers, they got to travel now 3,000 miles about.
They're also the favorites. The 49ers are actually the favorites in this game.
Yeah, they are the favorites, but yeah, I mean this is to me it's a toss-up game too, but yeah, I mean the Packers did pretty well against the 49ers.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick was getting exposed.
Little shake.
To me, his legs saved him in that game.
Yeah,
that if he did not make that real route and got the first down. The drive ends. They probably there was almost that one pick that one time. He throws like this lob, and looks like this Packers is gonna catch it. If that's the case, game over. Aaron Rodgers needs a field goal then to win the game.
Yeah,
for Mason Crosby, but drops it. Kaepernick gets lucked the same drive and he gets the first down. And once you get the first down, like game's over now. It's an easy field goal. They'll make it.
Yeah,
it's almost like the Saints and Eagles game, pretty much. Once the Saints had 4 minutes left and they converted that key 3rd and 1, sneak with Breeze. I'm like, that game's over.
Yeah.
Guys not missing that easy of a field goal.
Yeah.
They just wishful thinking of Philadelphia fans' parts. But I figured I thought the game was over once the course collar got called. I'm like, oh my God, we're just giving Drew Brees this, making it so easy for this talented quarterback to just run and score. But no, I mean, I thought Kaepernick got exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
Granted, I thought the cold weather would be a factor too.
Right.
You kind of laughed at that a bit.
No, I thought it'd be a factor. I mean, I also thought it'd be a factor in Cincinnati and I mean, for the Eagles game, it wasn't as bad as people thought. The wind.
Well, Cincinnati was actually warmer.
Yeah, I guess it was.
It was in the 40s.
It's still,
it was the 50s.
I mean, that's over in Ohio. I mean, that's not too far from us. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, I thought it would be somewhat of a factor, but Kaepernick handled it well, but still, Rodgers had to basically carry the Packers for the most part.
Well, pretty much, and I knew that too. But I thought it was at home. I thought the team would be motivated, and they were motivated. This is a motivated defense. I think Aaron Rodgers had to kind of be slow first quarter. I think
I
think if he would have not have punted, because it was like 3-3 and outs for that offense to start the game, which is just unheard of for Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Those would have been field goals, touchdowns. Different story. Packers. We've been talking about the Packers going to Carolina.
Similar, and that was kind of similar to the Eagles game too. The way it's slow, but I mean, had Aaron Rodgers not had to carry the Packers as much, I would have gone with the Packers there, and no Clay Matthews in the defense, and
no, and at least he had a nice game too.
Yeah, I mean he
was. He gets tackled. He kept moving. Just kept moving. He's a big back.
Right, and I'm sure next year the Packers, will be right back up there again, and see what they do in the offseason.
I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see who the Lions pick as their coach.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why they've been faltering is Jim Schwartz has been their coach. If they pick a good coach, this might be a dangerous team, more talented technically than the Packers.
Yeah. I mean, a few years ago they were. Yeah, I mean they were 10-6, and so, but yeah, I mean, I think the Carolina Panthers take care of business in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty behind them for a while now. So I mean, they've been basically, the hottest team I think in the NFL. Since week 5 or whatever you want to call it.
No, not to mention quarterback-wise, I think Cam Newton's a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, he's got a little more, I think, experience as a starter, and he's got legs too. I mean, he can. Well,
yeah, but he also has an arm. He has an arm.
Well, yeah, he has quite an arm too. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think Cam Newton will.
I also don't think Ric Flair's going to show up and give an inspirational speech either. I still think that motivated maybe the team a bit too.
Yeah, but But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see how those playoff games shake out.
So wow, we actually have the same picks. I thought maybe with me picking the
Yeah.
Colts and the
No.
Panthers, I thought maybe you might. So who's your pick then? Because I'm still sticking Seahawks and Broncos. Because which was a good
Well,
year? It was 49ers and Broncos. Grant, we both had Seattle going into the championship game too. So like, we kind of both had this San Francisco
I
Seattle
have
matchup in our
yeah.
mind, kind of. But so I take it
Like,
Seattle then is coming to the NFC then, or are you going Carolina maybe?
possibly Seattle. I mean,
so Seattle.
you know, we
Denver?
gotta. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean,
So the question now is, Tyler, who's your Super Bowl pick? Because you had San Francisco as also your Super Bowl pick too,
yeah.
being Denver.
Then again,
I had Denver being San
Yeah.
Francisco.
Well, I have Denver.
Now it's Denver over Seattle.
Yeah. See, the thing too is like Seattle. I mean, I don't think. I mean, they're a little better than I think people expected them to be.
Definitely.
I didn't think they'd be 13-3 and.
Well, here's the thing. I figured whoever won the West was taking one.
Right.
I thought the 49ers would take the one,
That's what I thought too.
which made me think home field advantage. At Candlestick it's the last year. They're going to be highly motivated. They didn't. Seattle took the one. So all of a sudden I started seeing this sign here of, okay, maybe San Francisco just isn't as good as they were last year. Maybe
They started off a little weak.
I mean, granted, I think they have Anquan Bolden, which you think adds more talent to the passing game and that. But still,
he's getting a little older.
Yeah, but still, I mean, which is why I picked Green Bay because I'm thinking, okay, well, now they're going to go on the road.
Yeah.
Instead of being home field all the time, like Seattle was going to be. So it changes that for this team here a bit. So I figured that's why I kind of got off the bandwagon for San Francisco and said, okay, Seattle's my pick now. I still think it's going to be Peyton Manning over Seattle at the Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I have right now too. I mean,
so we both have Broncos now.
It'll be it'll be a neutral field. Yeah. You know, no Seattle home field advantage, and
but we're all hoping it's not going to be snowing though, because I think that's really going to hinder a guy like Peyton Manning. Then he's not going to be throwing a lot of darts probably.
Yeah. And also Seattle too. I mean, they get a lot of rain, but not necessarily snow. So that's.
But they can run the ball with Marshawn Lynch against a very weak defense. That's what I'm saying. If it's on a normal neutral field, Denver should win the game.
Right.
But if you think if it's snow, you think the advantage would go back to Seattle then probably.
It could. Yeah.
Which is kind of screwy because it's going to be like, well, Payne got screwed by the weather, not Seattle.
Yeah.
and that's about weather games people hate there. It takes away.
Yeah.
It's not exciting at all, especially if you're a Denver Broncos fan probably.
Yeah, so.
Like I said, I got Denver still, though I am going to be really paying attention to the San Diego game here because this is just a scary matchup for me for Denver-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and if the Chargers win, I mean, they're that much closer to the Super Bowl.
San Diego, I guess maybe the Colts. I mean, if the Colts win, I mean, like I said, if it's a weak AFC team, you've got to think NFC, especially if the last so many teams are Seattle, Carolina, or even San Francisco, really.
Yeah.
You think it'd be advantage NFC then, pretty much. Although, Andrew Luck, Phil Rivers, that should be maybe an interesting matchup, probably. Because you got Phil Rivers, who's never been to one. But he's always had the stats. It's always ever been really known for it. He's a stats guy, but he's never got that ring yet. Yeah. Andrew Luck, the self-proclaimed maybe next Peyton Manning of football, pretty much. Who might actually win one faster than Manning ever won one, probably.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got several years until, he'd be so, yeah, I mean, that's very possible.
But then again, like I said, the Panthers could win. Now you got Cam Newton. And even Seattle, Russell Wilson's a young quarterback, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I like to play it by year, so, I mean, who knows? I mean, next week, I don't know, maybe I'll think Carolina will win. I mean, who knows? But now,
that's what you did, too. I want to see how this week goes. But no, it's Seattle, Carolina, Indianapolis, Denver.
Yeah.
And the only game I'm really 50-50 on is Denver-San Diego. Because I know how San Diego's played Denver this year.
Right. So yeah, that's my... Yeah, I mean, it's kind of...
Denver looks very good against a very talented Cincinnati Bengals team.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess we'll see how those games shake out then.
Yeah.
And we'll see, see how the Eagles' off-season is now starting. I mean, maybe a lot of vacations right now.
Like I said, I mean... It's going to be a big second year for Chip Kelly and Nick Foles. Bigger for Nick Foles because, like I said. And also Michael Vick, I think, is going to be an interesting question, too. Does he stick around? Obviously, he's not going to get paid $12 million as a backup. Yeah. But if he sticks around as a backup, what does that mean for a team in that? I mean...
I like to see him stick around as a backup.
I think for one more year. I think if you give Foles a franchise deal...
Yeah. You got
then... Because here's the thing. Most QBs... I think most people are saying... We Eagles have 3 quarterbacks. Usually only have 2 now. Yeah, but most teams have a franchise QB though. So they're only thinking really one quarterback. They're not thinking about the backup. But they literally need a third string. And they do have a third string, but usually on reserve,
Right.
which is not even active on the roster.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there in case they get called up one day. Because, Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone one time. Or he might
Yeah.
just be on the sidelines maybe one
Yeah.
game. And even then, those guys usually get cut because they're not that good.
Yeah.
And then you should go to the free agent market because maybe somebody gets dropped, like Matt Flynn, and then he gets thrown in the starting role then. So, I mean, to me, I stick with 3. If you can keep Vic, you keep Vic at backup. Because Vic's more... I don't trust Liner yet. And I might never trust Matt Liner there. And
I mean, Barkley.
Barkley. These USC quarterbacks, yeah. Matt Barkley, yeah. Matt Liner. I mean, they're both USC guys, and by now, if I'm Matt Barkley, don't play like Matt Liner because it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
But I keep Michael Vick because I think at least if Foles gets hurt,
you never know when Vic can come in and win you games.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And especially with the talent around, the Jackson and McCoy. I mean, he's done it before.
To me, if it's a relapse, we let go of Foles then, and we go to the draft and draft the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
because what's the thing about who we might get maybe next year in the draft? Brett Hundley is not he's sticking around. Braxton Miller, your guy like I figured, he's sticking around next year. Yeah. He might declare in next year's draft. Johnny Manziel has not made a decision yet. Giant football. He might play one more year at AM yet, and then declare in the draft. Yeah. He's got some talent there. Maybe Jameis Winston, the Heisman Trophy winner, maybe a back-to-back Heisman Trophy winner of the defending national champion Florida State Seminoles. Maybe he plays one more year and then declares for the draft. So if Foles, falls apart or falls apart, no big deal. We do got some draft picks. Maybe we can use maybe next year for a quarterback. Maybe I dare say maybe better than this year's lot so far.
Yeah,
we're only as right now Teddy Bridgewater and Blake Bortles. Although I think Johnny Manziel is going to declare, I don't see him sticking around. If he does, that's going to shock me then.
Yeah.
Because unless he's thinking, it's a 14 playoff, maybe we can't get AM to that playoff maybe then.
Yeah. So.
Because that's always my Braxton Miller stayed, because he wants to win a national title for Ohio State,
right.
And they can. It's a 4-team system next year.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger field this year.
But maybe a few more pieces on defense, and I think the Eagles should be solid next year. I mean, it's
like I said, should be better. But if it relapses,
Foles,
Kelly's going to get blamed. I don't see it getting to the point where he gets axed in 2 years. It's not. This isn't Steve Spurrier at Washington, where I think he only was the coach for 2 years and then he got fired. But it was 2 mediocre seasons too. Yeah. But I think if Foles gets most of the blame to the point where I think we don't even keep him on the roster anymore.
Right. And I mean, with an off season where now he's going to be taking the first team reps.
Exactly.
The theory is he should be.
Let's say he should be better. So if it's bad and it's bad because Foles has completely relapsed,
right,
and it's not gotten better, then it's not going to do good for Nick Foles. Especially in a year when he needs to convince the franchise, put a franchise tag on me, give me the millions and millions of dollars that I think I deserve, pretty much.
Yeah,
and. Like Jeffrey Lurie says pretty much in the interview. What I took it from the interview saying is we'll give the franchise tag if he earns the franchise tag. And I guess he said, look, anybody can have one good year.
Exactly. So let's see if he can have another good year.
If it's 2 good years, then we'll start thinking about him maybe as the franchise guy.
Right.
And for me, that means you win the division again.
Which they should.
They probably should. I mean, we don't know if Dallas yet. Monty Kevin has not been axed yet.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't see Jerry being that stupid hanging. Somebody's got to get fired at Dallas.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's not going to be Garrett as of right now. So you think it's got to be Kiffin? There was a new story came up with how Robert Kiffin III is pissing off more and more teammates in Washington, which means this guy can have one of the shortest careers I've ever seen a first rounder have. I mean, I don't even know it's not Robert. It's a team sport, and you don't want to piss off your linemen. They protect you,
right?
And in New York, I mean, Tom Coughlin's sticking around supposedly another year. They're sticking with him again.
I think they can be a little better. The Giants.
Yeah. I mean, there were some injuries this year for them, and you think maybe Eli might go back to maybe Super Bowl champion Eli, maybe. So maybe that's their best challenge yet.
Then again, I mean, the Giants, they've I don't think they've won over 11 games with Eli. So I mean,
but yet they still won 2 Super Bowls.
They did, right? As a 10-6 team and a 9-7 team. So, but I mean, as far as the Eagles making the playoffs, I think either way they should be able to make the playoffs next year. Most likely win the division.
Because, like I said earlier, I mean, that's what we're going to be saying. Well, Nick Foles might deserve it because, let's say, the Bears now gave Jay Cutler a franchise paycheck pretty
Right.
much. He's a starter for life apparently there. So we would say he got hurt most of the year, and when he showed up, he didn't do much. But
Right.
but no, they gave him a deal. So Bears are saying, okay, we're staying with Cutler at least till 2020.
Yeah.
Tony Romo is stuck. Dallas is stuck with him too. Honestly, I think Romo's the better guy right now than Cutler is. But still, they're stuck with him.
Yeah.
RG3 probably is the franchise guy. At least it's almost guaranteed now. He doesn't have a franchise contract yet. Much like Nick Foles, he's got one more year until they renegotiate. So he's got to have a big turnaround from last year that really make people not second guess him now.
Yeah.
But again, he's buddies with the owner, so he should get a deal probably.
Yeah.
But like I said, Nick Foles, next year's a big year deal for him because,
Right.
like I said, he's making under $1 million right now, Tyler.
Right.
Just like Andrew Luck's making under $1 million supposedly.
Yeah, I think about $500,000.
Yeah. And Colin Kaepernick's making under $1 million right
Right.
now. He's got a deal. He's got an extension supposed to be working. Honestly, he's earned it right now. He took him to the Super Bowl. So enough said right there. He should probably he'll probably get a nice deal probably. Russell Wilson also under $1 million, but he'll probably get a nice multi-million-dollar contract too.
Yeah.
Nick Foles, I'm not sold yet on him. I think
he needs another year.
Needs another year yet for me to say this guy deserves a massive deal from Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles franchise, essentially.
I mean, obviously, 29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the end, I mean, they won the division, but they got ousted in the first round, and now
at home, which really hurts the.
With somewhat of a Now let's see. They make a few improvements in the offseason, maybe. This is a young team. Everybody can get better. See what they do this year. I mean, expectations, aren't going to be any lower than this year, obviously.
No,
so
no, and they're going to be higher.
Yeah, if anything,
like I said, division and probably everyone expects the division, if at the very least a playoff appearance, and maybe at least a playoff win.
Yeah,
especially if it's at home again.
Yeah, and next year, they win the division. I don't know, if it'll be a third or fourth seed or whatever. I mean, I dare to say, they get a first round bye, but either way, they go in the first playoff game, and this team, knows, okay, we've been here before now. Like Nick Foles, this was his first playoff game. Now next year, it's like, all right, I've been here. I've been here before.
Yeah,
a little more comfortable. Like with Andrew Luck last year. That was his first playoff game. They lost to the hot Baltimore Ravens, who went on to win it all. But now kind
of like the very hot San Diego Chargers right now. Yeah. They've now won 5 straight games.
Yeah.
And the last one they lost to, they just destroyed Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of teams that were heading into the playoffs with winning streaks of some kind, playing good football. And actually, the Bengals were actually they were winning some games, and the Colts were another team.
Yeah.
So but only half of the teams survived in each round of the playoffs. So
like I said, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, a lot of interesting teams next year, especially with who they draft. Maybe
right.
If Teddy Bridgewater goes to Houston, then Houston talking about maybe now Coach Bill O'Brien.
True, Bill O'Brien. Yeah.
Like I said, he does have some talent there. Andre Johnson, as far as I know, is still staying. They will get Foster back next year, supposedly. They lost him earlier this year. Maybe all they need is a quarterback. If they gave Teddy Bridgewater, does that turn his team back to a playoff team? Maybe even a Super Bowl contender team, maybe.
Could be a little bit like
if Johnny Football goes to Jacksonville with the whole Tim Tebow started crap and finally, and Jacksonville start selling tickets because now they have a money-making quarterback kind of. Yeah. And does he maybe turn the South around? Because the South is right now the weakest AFC division.
Right. Take out the Colts, and it's like the weakest division in the league.
Because Tennessee, new coach. Texans, new coach. Jacksonville has the same coach.
Yeah.
But
they still got some,
they still got some issue. But Maurice Jones-Drew might have a big year, maybe. Maybe Ornice is a big quarterback.
Maybe, yeah. He's getting up there. I mean, running backs, but you never know. Yeah.
I can see Jacksonville maybe with the right QB. Maybe they can turn it that.
Yeah. I mean, they could be.
How? I mean, like I said earlier. Carolina finally turned it around this year. That's the other thing too. Atlanta. What does the Falcons finally do next year?
Yeah. I think they'll have some sort of. I mean, that division is obviously a tough division.
What does Lovie Smith do with Tampa Bay? Maybe.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting move. But as far as the Texans go, I mean, I could could maybe possibly see maybe like a Kansas City Chiefs turnaround. Maybe. I mean,
maybe. I mean, in that
two
division,
and 14.
yeah,
It
in that
reminds
division,
me
it's
of
not out. Yeah, in that division's not out of the question.
right. I mean, yeah. I mean, they could go back to second in the division maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, obviously, I think the Colts are.
I mean, to me right now, the best job is Detroit right now, clearly talent wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's clearly the
Definitely.
best job right now. Washington might be the most dangerous job right
Yeah.
now. Because
Yeah.
if you're dealing with a guy who now supposedly has made his, I don't want to say made a threat, but pretty much just said, I'm buddies with Daniel Snyder, so if I want to make the team in this direction,
Yeah.
some of you guys might not be part of that picture, maybe.
Yeah.
So pretty much he's fighting, he might fire people. Like, he might go to Daniel Snyder and say, I don't like this guy. I don't think he works for my offense. Therefore, we should axe him.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I mean, if you're a coach, it's like, okay, well, are you really the coach, or is it Robert's team and he's the coach,
Yeah.
and Daniel Snyder makes the decisions then apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we got another interesting round of NFL playoffs ahead of us, as we always do.
Yeah.
We already gave our matching picks this week.
All the same.
All the same.
There's no
Yeah.
difference,
No,
which means we either have a good week
Last
or a bad
week was
week. Pretty
different,
much.
yeah. But
Both went 2
yeah,
and 2,
this
yeah.
this week we're on the same track here, so we'll see what happens, and and we'll be back here next week to talk about it on TW Sports Talk. So thanks for tuning in as always.